Hello, lovelies. So our last reading for October, and really also August, was more reflecting on behaviors that we could really address, things that we could tie up, loose ends to tie up, things we can address and get rid of, as well as really holding on to some patience through some challenging situations. And I really want to see for November kind of one, what that's going to bring about, but really more or less just to see what transformations are getting ready to take place. Any last little things that are kind of stinging that you can address and get rid of, behaviors that you can recognize and change, or self-destructive thought processes or patterns or people, as well as looking at what is coming your way as far as potential and potent transformations between now and the end of the year. Next month, for December, we're going to take a look. I'm going to do 2 readings for December. One is going to do more of a reflection type of reading, looking at the energies for 2020 and really just reflect on that, what happened. How can we take that energy and use that into 2020, and that's going to lead into the second half of, or the second reading, which is going to be it's going to be focusing on the resolution based on that reflection. How can you use that for what to look forward to in 2021? How can you, if you're able to follow through with all of these types of transformations and these challenges and this patience, what is that paying off for? What can you look forward to in 2021 in general, or even at least just as you kind of flow into the first portion of 2021? So that's the plan. We're going to take a look at that transformational aspect, more of a kind of a preliminary transformational point. What can you start looking at now as we approach the end of the year that you can start reflecting on, tying up, finishing up, and getting ready to just kind of prep and motivate for 2021. Okay, so let's get started. All right, Aquas, let's see what kind of transformations you got going on. What are you letting go of that's still stinging you a little bit? What destructive behaviors are you, or do you need to deal with? And let's see what's getting ready to transform, okay? If there's anything you can do to bring it in. We'll start with what hurts need to be released, or what things are still kind of stinging here. So we've got something surrounding, investments of time that you've in your life. It's something to do with your home, has to do with being, kind of stuck in a situation you just really can't get out of, or maybe that you've chosen to just kind of be involved with, dealing with some of these destructive types of scenarios, behaviors, people, and finally just kind of releasing those things is really what I'm feeling. But it's the change overall. It's what it has to do with, it is painful. It does, it's one of those more challenging shifts. It has to do with an imbalance that you might not necessarily be, maybe it's been something that's just been surrounding and the inevitable, I guess, you know what I mean? It's an imbalance that once it's dealt with, or once it's addressed, that what's on the other side of it is peace, it's serenity, it's what you ultimately desire. But it's allowing this transformation to bring that in, and the only way to do that is to address these problems, address the ultimate and inevitable result that's going to ensue should you progress forward with ultimately, this is a loss. It's letting go of that insecurity. It's letting go of that instability that's been there for so long. It's not going to change. It's just ending and putting that out of your day-to-day circumstances, your day-to-day life, the ability for it to affect your quality of life. You're just putting that wall up and putting that out of your bubble, if you will. Okay. What destructive behaviors do you need to recognize or stop here? It's regardless of the reason the idea that this is not going to be a failure, or that something about this is going to shift or change, needs to be eliminated out of your mind, okay? Again, regardless of what's bringing that in. This is something that's going to continue to bring delay, should you choose to continue to hold on to it, okay? Even if it's just a way of approaching something, a perspective you're holding on to. Going back to the same old, whatever. Because I thought about 5 different things in that sentence, so I don't want to put one thing out there. Going back to the same old whatever that is to you. It's going down a different path. It's choosing the best case scenario, the highest level of satisfaction, keeping your standards and your desires at a high level, at a high frequency, or whatever you want to call it. It's committing to that, okay? It's committing to that and not going backwards, but towards change, which is also kind of scary, but not when it's exciting, kind of scary when it's something to do with your ultimate desires and satisfactions, okay? So what aspect of your life is undergoing a pretty important transformation? The Ace of Wands. Yeah, not surprised to see that. Okay, that's your ultimate fire within you. I mean, that's your desire to pursue your goals, your dreams, what makes you happy. It's about your truth as well. I mean, this is about speaking your truth and standing your ground and being able to not feel like it's about feeling that pride and that accomplishment from segregating yourself from those old energies and being in that renewed, fresh way. Things are starting to just kind of come to you, like things that you want to say, things that you need to deal with, ways that you're just kind of not tolerating certain things anymore, and the way you are so fluidly able to communicate what you have to say or how you feel. I mean, a lot of transformation there. So in other words, an amazing reward that you get, a success from this ability to overcome and tap into your own personal divine inspiration, because you just let go of that old energy. And then here you are with all kinds of stuff to say, all kinds of motivation, and all kinds of passion and fire there. So that's where I'd want to see you as we end, or as we get closer to the end of 2020. All right, so let's just look and see what will help you dive into that hard space and kind of give you more of what you want, or, be more aware of what you don't need. So giving you what you want here. What you can do to dive in to get you more of what you want. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse, interesting, and we've got the Page of Swords in reverse. So this is about it's talking about instability, drama, lack of communication, a lot of lack of, a lot to do with communication, and the way that maybe the instability has affected your communications with people. I guess that resonates more than what else I was getting, and it's needing to explore how that, which makes sense. Okay, so it's about exploring how the instabilities of or the negatives of how that was affecting your communication and who you really are, your personal truth, the way your spirit and energy comes out in your words. That was being affected because you were being brought down in these old energies. I mean, just just hammered and hammered. And so you didn't have that spice or that desire to give that part of you to anybody who didn't deserve that shit, right? So now you're getting closer to like, okay, I'm going to give it to who deserves it. And when I do give that shit, it's going to be all or nothing, right? So you're going to be very particular, I guess, is really what I'm seeing. And that's where you need to explore. You need to be that way. You need to kind of take a moment and be like, do I want to give you my energy or don't I? And the people who definitely deserve that are going to get an interesting and nice shift towards something much better, because they're going to see that. They're going to see that you're just in a different and brighter energy, and that you're giving more of yourself to the cause here, you know, to the relationship. You're not living in the past. You're living in this renewed sense of awareness and clarity and feeling just, you know, in this Ace of Wands energy. So also moving towards a better, all the way around, it gives them obviously a pretty solid impression that you're in a different state of mind. So it's pretty intense, pretty powerful. I can see that shift is getting ready to transform that heart space of the people around you that care about you the most. So you got rid of something toxic. You got rid of something that needed to be just kind of exnate, and if not, then that's kind of what you're dealing with. That's what you're dealing with this month, and getting ready to do that. So what can you do, or what can happen to bring in more of what you're desiring? It's coming from that wise and honest self that takes control. It's getting mad, okay, as opposed to sad, if you will. That's my particular phrase. A little bit about me. My very first, so my first divorce, technically we were married and divorced. So in that one, there came a moment, I was sitting in my kitchen, I was all sad, I was crying. It was a slightly abusive type of relationship, so I really didn't have anything to be sad about. Everything I needed was already there. But I was sitting there and I was like, man, I'm so sad all the time, you know, I can't, but I read something. Some kind of quote or motivational quote or something like that said something about, it was one of the first ones I ever read, and it was right after I watched The Secret, of course, and this was like probably 15 years ago, and I remember it saying, don't get mad, or shit, that's not what it said. It said, don't get sad, get mad. And the moment I applied that to my situation, it was the moment it gave me the fire to pursue who I ultimately was, which was not this bullshit. That was not my truth. That was not who I am. I was meant to do more. I was meant to be more. And it was that fire that came from the anger of what I had gone through, and how someone or a situation or whatever had misconstrued who the hell I am and what I am and what my power is. And at that moment, it was on. I mean, it was like a light switch turned on, and it's just been on since. So it's kind of a renewed thing for you guys, especially for those of you who have just been kind of hammered down and pushed around and, you know, smacked down. Sorry. I hope that you haven't been smacked down. I didn't mean to make a rhyme out of that. That's not funny. And I hope that I'll kick some ass. You message me and tell me I will kick some ass. I do not tolerate that shit. So I hope that's not happening. But the point is, you need to smack some, you know, energy back around and just get yourself into a situation that's far more powerful and motivational. So, I don't know. I think you get quite a wake-up call in November that tells you exactly what you need. It just gives you that push. Maybe it's just an energetic push of exactly what you needed to get it moving. And it's fast. Whatever it is, it's fast. But you've got to commit to it. That's all I know. You got to commit to it. Anything else you need to know? I think you got the longest reading. The reward is fantastic and very much worth your while. So I would say just take the easy route and do what needs to be done. Get this done, simple, quick, over with, and move along. Because the more you put the foot down, the more reward you get. Shoot, you can't get better than that. All right? All right, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. And much love to you. Have a great month.